Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. The Andy Cruz, Raymond Muratalla fight, I gotta talk about these guys till I get it out of my system, right? That wasn't just a battle between fighters, it was a battle between trainers. Robert Garcia and Bozy Ennis came in with two very different strategies, and only one of them truly prepared their fighter for the reality of a professional championship pressure type fight. Now, I want to talk about Robert Garcia's conditioning based strategy and how it worked, how Muratalla's body attack and ring control changed the fight, why Bozy Ennis' game plan for Andy Cruz, it just wasn't enough, the difference between training for a beautiful fight versus training for a hard fight, and how pressure, stamina, and realism beat pure skill over time, and what this means for both fighters and trainers moving forward. Because the reality is, when a fighter gets in the ring, it's not just them that's in there fighting. It's the trainer as well. Now, Robert Garcia, he out-strategized Bozy Ennis. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Doesn't mean Bozy's not great. It just happens. He got out-strategized. Robert Garcia understood one thing Bozy underestimated. The fight was not about skill. It was about stamina and pressure. Garcia didn't try to turn Muratalla into a boxer. He didn't try to outthink Andy Cruz. He said, you know what? We're not going to win that battle. He acknowledged Andy Cruz's strength, Andy Cruz's IQ. But he said, you know what? We're going to drown him. We're going to drown him. Garcia built a strategy around long fight, body attack, ring cutting, mental pressure, and conditioning. He accepted that Cruz was slick, smarter technically, faster early, and that if he fought a type of fight to prove they could outbox him, they would lose, and it would have been an embarrassing loss. So instead of fighting Cruz's strengths, he attacked Cruz's weakness, which was his pro experience and endurance. And that's veteran coaching. That's actually pretty damn scary when you think about it, to know that a guy like Robert Garcia has such brilliant IQ and awareness and so much experience from being a pro fighter, a retired pro fighter, and a trainer for so many years, that he can look at almost every fighter and come up with the kind of game plan and pinpoint almost to a T exactly what needs to be done to win. And that is veteran coaching. Now, why Bozy's game plan for Cruz wasn't good enough? Look, Bozy's plan was to try to box him, stay mobile, pick him apart, avoid exchanges, be slick. And that's what Cruz has always known how to do. It's worked in the amateurs, it works in short pro fights, and it works when the opponents can't sustain pressure. But it's brilliant when you see it come together. But it does not work when the opponent never slows. It does not work when the opponent attacks the body. It does not work when the opponent cuts the ring off. And it does not work when the opponent is okay with taking a few shots. So Bozy's plan was basically, hey, Andy, just be who you are. You were great when you came to us. You're still great now. And let me tell you, that's not strategy. Andy Cruz isn't a turnkey operation. He needs help. So as far as just saying, no, we're just going to let Andy be Andy, that's an identity. So for me, on the outside looking in, Bozy didn't give Cruz a plan for late rounds, didn't give Cruz a plan for when his leg's tired. He didn't give Cruz a plan for sustained pressure, and he didn't teach Cruz how to clinch and survive. And one thing for sure, he didn't teach Cruz how to steal ugly rounds. And that's where they went wrong. So once Muratalla took away space, made it physical, attacked the body, Cruz had no second gear. And some people would say, that's coaching failure. Not talent failure. That's the coach's problem. Coach messed him up. When you look at it, Robert Garcia's plan worked to a T. like it almost always does whenever he's coaching somebody. 4 important things that I picked out of that fight, just from watching it. It says 4 important things Robert Garcia did. You could tell one that was blatantly obvious: conditioning-based strategy. Garcia trained Muratalla to fight 12 extremely hard rounds. Not explosive, not trying to be flashy, not trying to be really fast early, but just steady, grinding, suffocating pressure. So when Cruz slowed, Muratalla was just getting started. Second thing, in addition to conditioning-based strategy, body first attack. You know, when you're fighting a Mexican fighter, especially with Robert Garcia coaching them, they're going to have a damn good body attack. You know what I'm saying? Garcia knew you don't catch Cruz up top very cleanly. Trying to hit him on the chin is very hard. So what do? You go to the body. Go to the chest, go to the arms. You try to take away the legs. And Muratalla was hitting him in the stomach, the hips, the ribs, sometimes on the arms. He was just trying to hit him and slow him just enough to where he could start to, implement the game plan more effectively and more consistently. So once Cruz slowed down just enough, his defense was slipping a little bit. His movement died. I can say it totally died, but his movement eased up, and his counters weren't as sharp, and they didn't have the snap on it they had earlier. And I'm going to tell you, that's just high-level coaching. And Robert Garcia deserves all the respect in the world. Now, when it comes to ring control, not chasing, that's something else with Robert Garcia. He said, just control the ring. Don't chase him, just control the ring. That's all you need to do. Garcia didn't want Muratalla running after Cruz. He taught how to cut the ring off. And what I noticed, same thing I was hoping to see Canelo do at Crawford. Least amount of steps to cut the ring off. Block those exit routes. And I did see that here with Muratalla and Cruz. Robert Garcia taught him to effectively cut that ring off and sustain that pressure. Step laterally, close those exits, trap Cruz on the ropes. Cruz was on the ropes a lot in that fight. And that's why Cruz he had to fight. He had to trade, he had to survive, and he had to move. Instead of doing like he likes to do, which he's always goddamn dancing. Y'all watch Andy Cruz, he always dances some salsa, some hip hop, some merengue. His ass always dancing and shit. And then the last thing when it comes to Robert Garcia, I just think he really understood psychological pressure, and he made sure that he trained Muratalla to believe this guy can't stop you. He can't stop you. He may outpoint you, but this is how you preclude that from happening, but he can't stop you. And that's huge. Cruz had never fought someone who didn't respect him, someone who didn't slow, someone who didn't back off. So mentally, Cruz got uncomfortable. And once a boxer gets uncomfortable, they stop creating. I'm telling you that from experience. I've been through it. I've done it to people. But I've been through it. And you see it in boxing matches. You'll see a fight start off a kind of way, then all of a sudden, shit starts to go a certain direction. And one fighter just starts to create separation. And sometimes you have fights that goes back and forth. But you see it in most fights where one fighter will stop creating and the other one starts to create more and more and more. And they either go on to get a stoppage, a knockout, a decision, but they end up going on to be victorious. So that being said, what Bozy should have done different? Remember, Bozy's a brilliant trainer. I just think it boils down to conditioning. That's it. But I think he could have helped Cruz with a clinch strategy, body counters, inside survival tactics, pacing plan, and ugly round tactics. I think those are things they got to work on, because everyone knows now if you put pressure on Cruz and you can sustain it, you can take whatever shots he's dishing out early in the fight, you could go on to get a decision victory. So those are things you got to work on. But instead of giving him what we just mentioned, he gave Cruz a pretty fight plan for a dirty fight. You can't have a pretty fight plan for a dirty fight. It's not going to work. And that's the mistake. You can't outbox pressure for 12 rounds without a survival system. You just can't do it. So the big picture, this fight proved Robert Garcia trains fighters for reality. He prepares for the worst case and builds fights around weaknesses. Hey, these are things we're not doing great, but we need to tighten that up, because if we get in there, we're not doing these things great, you're going to lose. So he puts the onus on the fighters to elevate their game, to make sure that they're mentally locked in, physically, spiritually, mentally prepared to go to war. And for Bozy, I think Bozy, he didn't train Andy Cruz for reality. He tried to build a game plan around talent. He didn't prepare for a worst case. I don't think he thought Cruz would be suffering in there. He didn't get him ready to suffer. I don't think he tried to work and build a fight around Cruz's weaknesses to make sure that those loose ends, they tightened up. So Cruz wasn't prepared for fatigue and conditioning. And I don't think Bozy really felt that the pro grind was that Cruz wasn't ready for the pro grind. As a result, he didn't prepare Cruz for the kind of war he should have prepared him for. But the bottom line is, Garcia trained for a very hard fight. Bozy trained for a beautiful fight. And you can't have a pretty game plan for an ugly fight. So hard beats beautiful over time. Pretty damn simple. So my final truth is Robert Garcia didn't beat Bozy with genius, because both of those guys are brilliant. He beat him with just being realistic. Conditioning, number one. Pressure, patience. And I think Bozy assumed Cruz's talent would just figure things out, find a way to win, and that would be it. Where Garcia assumed Cruz's stamina would fail, and I'll tell you what, Garcia was right. So it is what it is. That being said, y'all keep cool. Robert Garcia does it again. The dude just got the gift to keep on giving when it comes to these fighters, man. I don't care what y'all say. They're doing something right in the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy. You know, they put out some amazing fighters, man. He does a great job. And Bozy does a great job too. But Robert Garcia is just so consistent with his guys fighting and winning. It's ridiculous. Anyway, y'all keep cool. On to the next video. In the breeze.